Hey, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of the Soulful Eclectic. I am none other than your host, Dr. Diana Collins, and I want to welcome you to today's episode. If you are returning, thank you for taking the time out to come back and listen to what we got to talk about for the day. And if you are new to the podcast, thank you so much for taking the time out to see what it is that we're talking about. I truly appreciate you and I truly appreciate your time. So I thank you for coming and listening to what we have to say. And I hope something that we say resonates with you and that you keep coming back. And even if you go backwards and go listen to some of the other stuff that we've done, I hope that's something that you do. So with that, I thank you for taking a time out to be here, to talk with us, to listen, to see what we have to say, and to be a part of the conversation and start a conversation for yourself as well. So again, thank you. Before we get started, as we always do, we want to thank our lovely sponsors that keep me doing this thing, right? So thank you to Divine Nubian Essentials. Loving the skin that I'm in. I am just glowing. My hair is growing. Oh my gosh, I got pieces everywhere. So we are doing the thing, and I am so grateful to Divine Nubian Essentials for keeping my hair and my health and my skin just looking freaking amazing. So if you have not tried Divine Nubian Essentials, please do so. Just be aware, your hair will grow, your skin will glow, and your nails will do a thing or two. just saying. And sharing. If you are local here in Tucson, you can find Divine Nubian Essentials at Meek's Beauty Supply, which is female Black-owned beauty supply store. Yes, I said it. It's female and is Black-owned beauty supply store here in Tucson on 22nd Street. And you can find not only Divine Nubian Essential products, but many, many other local vendors house their products there. And I just so love, it's such a community place. So thank you to Neek and Neek's Beauty Supply on 22nd Street for being a part of the community. And thank you to Collins Education Resource Management, where education is our passion. We are educating one student at a time, sometimes plenty. So thank you to Collins Education Resource Management for being the support that students need, while they're trying to obtain their degree in their passion, which is more than likely healthcare, because that's what we do. So we focus a lot on healthcare. So thank you for being a supporter of the Soulful Eclectic. We want to also thank Melvira's. Melvira, girl, she was on the show. Dee, your favorite stylist. She is amazing. The other stylists in the shop are amazing, and I just love it. I want to thank them all for the opportunity to walk in a fashion show. I was not slated to do that, but they thought of me, and at the last minute, I jumped in, and it was so much fun. And I forget how much fun it is to walk, do a runway show. So I thank them. Thank you for that. It was a great experience to showcase not only my hair, but also clothing by, I forgot Jennifer's shop. Jennifer O'Neill has a shop. And sorry, Jennifer, I totally forgot what the name of the shop is. Beautiful Things, I think it is. But I'm going to put it in the show notes so that everybody knows. It's local here in Tucson. And again, please forgive me. I should have written it down, but I did not. Thank you to none other than our housed author herself, Ms. Reggie Dupree. If you've not taken the time to read her books, please do. It's Return to Hoodoo Heaven, Return to Hoodoo, Mystical Midlife Mate, and Midlife Gumbo. I just fell in love with the first one and read each one thereafter. And she's a very good friend of mine, love her dearly. And it was through her book that we actually built a friendship. So, great things come with that conversation. So I love the book. And we really are manifesting some great things moving forward. So I'm hoping that somebody hears God, the universe, all those in power and the powers that be hears what we have manifesting and what we're bringing into our hearts. So thank you to Reggie Dupree for being such a light and including everyone in your book. I mean, it is it's a completely immersive, inclusive book. Everybody is included in that book. So that's what really I find a great value in her book and what she does in her writing. So thank you, Reggie. I truly appreciate you. And I'm still trying to get a hold of Jessica Cage. It's okay. We're still, I'm still sending messages, Instagram. I feel like I'm Instagram stalking her. I really just want to have a conversation, get her on the podcast, but it'll come. So thank you to Reggie. Thank you to WUBI, Ubiquity Radio and TV. Oh my gosh, we got so many great things coming on to the station. So please stay tuned. If you have not downloaded your app on Google Play or Apple, please do so. If you have not downloaded the TV station on Roku, please do so. Right now, you can only get it on Roku. So please download the radio station. It's an international station. So if you are a creative, an artist, and this is something that you think you want to do, please reach out to us on WUBI.live and send us a message, and we will get back to you and see what we can do to get your show aired on WUBI, Ubiquity Radio and TV. So thank you to the team, because we are making it happen and we do want to do. So thank you. Yeah. So just a thought about, since I'm going through the community, we had our Earthseed Rising event. It was the first of many events to come. So it was amazing. If you missed it, man, people showed up and we showed out and we had an amazing time. So thank you to Earthseed Rising Collective and the Dunbar for having us at the event. It was, I don't know what to say. It was absolutely amazing. We did some great things. If you didn't know what it was, I did post it a few times. Unfortunately, last week I did not come on because I was actually at the event that evening. So I did not have a show that day, but it was last Friday, Friday the 13th, which was a great day. Earthseed Rising was celebrating We Are the Art, Black Dandyism in the African diaspora. And it was so beautiful to see not only individuals of color, but individuals of non-color. Everyone was there to celebrate culture, and it was beautiful. So thank you to Earthseed Rising and showcasing not only art in the colorful forms as far as what we put on our walls, but also what we put on our bodies. We showed up and we showed out. So next year, keep it on your radar for February, around Valentine's Day, I'm sure. But we're going to be doing it again. And it's going to be even bigger. And it's going to be better each year. And I just love what it is that we do. So thank you to Earthseed Rising for putting on a great show. I am proud to be part of that collective. And we're doing some great things. Oh, yes. I'm sure I missed something and someone... but we're just gonna leave it there for now and make it do what it do. Make it do what it do. So today we're gonna talk about let's see. Today, what do I want to explore? We're gonna explore the intersections of purpose, healing, and creativity and becoming by discussing the connection between health and wealth and investing in yourself. Yes, that's what we want to talk about today. The connection between health and wealth and investing in yourself, and why your well-being is the most valuable asset you'll ever own. And this is something I had to learn, and this is something that I'm continuing to build upon, because let me tell you, we give and give and give and give so much of ourselves. And you guys have heard me say this. I will get up and do what I need to do for someone else's job. But when it comes to putting that energy into my projects, my businesses, I don't know what it is. It's so easy for me to slack off on myself because I don't know. I think maybe we're so used to disappointing ourselves. So it's okay. But we're so keen on showing up for somebody else because we want to disappoint someone else. Let's start putting ourselves first. All right. So that's part of the conversation today. We're going to put ourselves first, and we are not going to sleep on ourselves. We're going to get up and do for ourselves like we get up and do for that 9 to 5 that we work that paycheck for. Okay. Because we don't realize the payout for showing up for ourselves is feeling good, seeing that we're doing amazing things for ourselves, seeing our businesses grow, seeing ourselves grow, being engaged with family, and just being present. So there is a value that is set on that. And sometimes it is monetary. We have so much value set into monetary results. Like we go do a job, we get a paycheck, right? But when we work for ourselves, we're not getting that paycheck right away. We have to wait. Accounts receivable, people have to pay us. And sometimes we are doing things and we're not getting paid because we're building a business. So, but the payout is still there because you're still getting your name out, you're still being seen, and you're still getting in the room. So that's what we want to talk about today. Today's conversation, it's one that I really hold close to me because it's not just about money. It's also not just about health. It's about alignment. So we're going to talk about the connection between health and wealth and what it truly means to invest in yourself. Okay, so, but you know how I like to tell the truth about things and be honest. All right. You can't build a life of abundance on a body, mind, or a spirit that's constantly depleted. Okay. Now I'm going to say that one again. You can't build a life of abundance on a body, mind, or a spirit that's constantly depleted. And I, again, everything that I'm sharing with you all is something that I am experiencing or have experiencing and have grown through or growing through. And so I'm sharing with you because I know there's someone out there. I know it. Because I'm a woman, I'm a Black woman, I have children, I have a husband, I have a career. I know that body and mind and spirit has been depleted. Okay? It has been. And this is why I have the conversations, not only with myself, but with my spouse, with my group, my close group. But we have these conversations on how we're going to replenish the body, mind, and spirit so that we are not constantly operating in a state of depletion. Okay, because we are. I've lived and I've built a career in a state of depletion. Only God and the ancestors and the universe knows how I got here. Because I'm going to tell you, I was sleepwalking. Yes, sleepwalking is what my pulmonologist called it back then. Because I can sit for 5 seconds and go into a deep sleep. That's how much I did not sleep back then. Now I get a little bit better. It's hit or miss now with menopause, but I get a little bit more sleep than I did way back then, especially raising the kids and, working full time, going to school full time, and not even just working full. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and went to school and took care of the kids. And you're going through, dance classes and, making sure they have their extracurricular activities and spending time with them. So sometimes I can't even tell you how, I can tell you how God, the ancestors, and the universe is what kept me. That's all I can say. Mm-hmm. And I will continue to preach that because I don't know. I don't know. I don't recommend it to a soul. Please do not do that. Kind of like what David Goggins says, don't do the stupidness that I do. Don't learn from the stupidness that I've done, but don't do the stupidness that I've done. It's not recommended at all because what got me through there, I'm telling you, was pure drive, motivation, determination because there was a mantra I had in my head. And it's deeply rooted in me. I did not want to be a statistic, and I did not want my children to become a statistic. And that was what kept me from doing the things that I've done. That was my drive. That was my mantra. And I wish I can say I was making it up. I am not. That is something that I've always said to myself. I will not become a statistic, and I do not want my children to be a statistic. Now, mind you, I am a part of the statistics because I was a single mom for a majority. I was a Black woman, single. And so there's that. I did have Medicaid for the children. You know what? They told me I made too much for food stamps, so they never gave me SNAP. So here we are. So I always worked. And so, yeah, so it's just, I don't recommend it if you don't have to do it, but working in a state of depletion for your body, your mind, and your spirit is just something that you can't do. It's not functional. It's not logical. And in today's day and age, it's definitely not something that's sustainable. So let's talk about redefining wealth. Okay. So when you hear the word wealth, okay, most of us immediately go to the almighty dollar, right? We go to money. Wealth equals money. I have wealth. I have a lot of money. Bank accounts are full. Your portfolio of investments are blooming. You have assets. You have security. That's what wealth is when you ask this question. That's the first thing people think of as wealth. But today I want you to stretch your thought process. Stretch the thought of what that definition means to you. So when someone says wealth, when I talk about wealth, to expand on it, I'm talking about energy, capacity, right? Longevity, a peace of mind, and the ability to show up fully for your life. Yeah. So let's start changing where we're placing our value system. Because right now, a lot of us are placing that value on financial gain. I'm not going to do it if there's not a financial gain. What am I getting out of it financially, right? And so let's change that, because even though we got that financial gain, we're emotionally depleted. We have depleted energy. We have zero capacity. And forget it. If you want that money, you have to have some longevity. And if you are burned out, forget it. And if you don't have a peace of mind, I'm telling you, I did not realize how valuable a peace of mind was until I was able to sit in my own home and just breathe. There's a certain level of peace of mind that just comes into your home, in your own space. You don't even have to own the home. It's just your home. Whatever your home is, your body is your home. If you have a sense of a peace of mind, that is totally underrated. It has been underrated for me for many years. I didn't realize the value of it until I received it and I felt it. And I said, none of y'all taking that away from me ever again, because I know what this is and it feels good and I like it. I love it. And you are not disturbing my peace of mind. Anything that does not bring me peace or disturbs my peace of mind, it's out of here. Pack your bags, go. I don't know where you're going, but you're getting up out of here. You're not living rent-free in my brain, or in my space. So there's that. But the other piece of that is also, when you look at wealth, is the ability to show up fully for your life. not somebody else's, not the job, not even, you know what, not even your husband, your spouse, your significant other. It's the ability to show up fully for your life. Because if you could show up fully for your life, guess what? You're going to be present. You're going to show up for that spouse, for that significant other, for whomever you want to show up for. You'll have the capacity, you'll have the energy, the longevity, and the peace of mind to show up for them because you showed up for yourself first. Just saying. If you are burned out, chronically stressed, emotionally exhausted, or physically unwell, honey, no amount of money is going to make you feel like that's enough. There's not. No amount of money will feel like it's enough. It is what it is. True wealth begins with how well you are. True wealth begins with how well you are. How well are you? Take an inventory. Take a baseline. I can tell my patients, you always want to go see your doctor when you feel well, because you want to have a baseline of where you are in your best state of health, whatever that is. If you're chronically ill, what's your best state of health in that chronic illness? That's when you want to go see your doctor. That's when you want to establish what those baselines are, because then you'll know and have a field of reference when your body starts to take a turn and it's like, that ain't right. That's not normal. And then when you go see the doctor, they have a field of reference, right? Of where, okay, I saw you here. You didn't have this. So let's see what's going on. Because if we keep going in and we keep checking in with ourselves in those times where we're feeling like garbage, we don't have a field of reference to go back to say, oh, I was feeling good back here. Why am I feeling like this? What happened? What changed? So having that field of reference, right? Because here's the thing, we forget our health is a currency. Yes, our health is a currency. And as a healthcare professional, I've seen this firsthand. Your health will determine how long you can work. Okay. I've seen and we've heard people dying on the job. Like a couple of years ago, the woman was found at her desk. And the only reason why they found her because she smelled bad. They wanted to know where the smell was coming from in the office. And she was dead at her desk. Well, that's some craziness. I'll be damned. No, that's not going to happen. So when we look at the financial piece of it, and what wealth is, as a healthcare professional, I see this every day. Your health can determine, again, how long you can work, how clearly you can think, okay? Now today, even though I didn't sleep well, I meditated, I prayed, and I thought, and I have the clearest level of clarity today. I got so much done in the first few hours of my morning. And, now going into the evening, it's just, I'm good. I am great. I still have this clear mentality. How clearly you can think. And I know some days my mind is clouded, especially, with hormonal levels and things. So that's a natural progression, right? And we combat that. We have those little gray areas, those little foggy moments. But how clearly can you think for the most part? How creatively you can dream? How many of us go to sleep and we can remember our dreams? Right? We have all these monitors now to monitor our sleep pattern. I just got the ring, not the oral ring. Okay, no, I didn't do that. But it is a monitor, and I don't get fixated on how I'm sleeping, but it is a nice indication to check in and see how my sleep is. Because to me, I feel like I don't sleep very well, and I don't. not restfully, but that's neither here nor there. How creatively are you dreaming? Creatively are you dreaming? And how consistently? This is a big one, guys, because this is the whole crux of this whole conversation. How consistently you show up? How consistently are you showing up? I'm working on my showing up for me, because I can show up for everybody else. And I have done better at recognizing, I think we had this conversation 2 weeks ago, being able to say no. I feel bad for saying no, but sometimes I'm really just tired and I can't do it. So I'd rather do something where I can be at my full capacity and be present and do my best than just showing up just to be a body and just be like, all right, a lump on a wall. How consistently you can show up. So these are just a few of the things your health can determine. Your health is renewable currency, people, but it's only a renewable currency if you invest in it. Okay. Now, here's the piece. And I'm going to share with you because I am number one guilty. Oh, am I guilty? Okay. Every skipped meal, yep, I said it, and I skip a meal often, okay, to the point where now I have to set timers for myself to eat because I will skip a meal. So, and my husband is amazing. Love you, Dan, to pieces, because I swear he is constantly investing in my health, in my renewable currency, because he makes sure I eat. He makes sure I have things that I'm going to eat. So thank you to my husband, Dan, for providing meals for me, because otherwise it'll be a bowl of Cheerios every day, because it's quick, easy, and I don't have to think about it. And there's not a lot of cleanup after. So I will definitely skip a meal. But when we talk about renewable currency and investing in it, think about every skipped meal. Think about those symptoms you've ignored. We talked about having a baseline, right? Think about the symptoms that you have ignored because, it just happened once. It's all right. Whoop, it happened again. Oh, but the last time it was 2 weeks ago. Pay attention, especially for us women. As women, cardiac events show up differently. They don't start at like general as they do for men, with the left arm pain, feeling the heaviness like an elephant sitting on your chest. We don't present the same way as women. As women, our heart issues resemble fatigue, shortness of breath, palpitations, stomach pain, nausea, and vomiting. Okay, so that's just a few of the abnormal symptoms that can present as cardiac events. So please pay attention to those little symptoms, right? Those sleepless nights. Oh, yeah. And unprocessed emotions is a withdrawal, just so y'all know. When we don't process those emotions, we're withdrawing, okay? Every moment that we take to rest is nourishment. Every movement is getting our body flowing, getting the blood moving, getting the circulation going, get the digestion going. Therapy, whether it's talking to your best friend. I know some of my friends say, oh, you're my therapist, let me unload. Okay, but here's the thing. Pick and choose how you're allowing that unload, because you're embodying that what people are unloading on you. Okay, so just be mindful of who you're allowing to unload on you. All right. Therapy, definitely. I check in with my therapist. Matter of fact, I think I'm overdue, but I check in with my therapist and just keep things going and just run things by her. She's like that neutral person that will give you honest feedback what it is that you're doing. She'll tell you whether you're doing something right or if you're doing something wrong, and give you guidance. So therapy is helpful, even if you think you're doing amazing and great. And there's nothing wrong with just having someone to check in. Learning. We always have to be in a state where we're learning something. Like me, even though I have my terminal degree, a doctorate in nursing practice, I'm still constantly learning. I'm still constantly growing as a leader. I'm still putting myself in classes whenever I can and whenever I find time. But I'm still learning. As an actress, I'm in classes twice a week. Still learning the craft, still growing the craft, still being present in the craft, right? Art. I love art. If I can't get into an actual class, I'll find something on YouTube and learn how to do something. Learning helps the brain, all right? We talk about individuals developing dementia and Alzheimer's. We need to exercise the brain. The brain is a small muscle, but it is mighty. And we need to cultivate it. We need it to grow. Reading a book. Now, you can read a book, and I'm not going to tell you what kind of book to read. That's totally up to you. But reading is helpful. I know we have audio books now and things reading for us. I still like a hardcover book. I still like to feel the pages, turn the pages. I am that crazy nerd girl that loves to smell a book, especially old books. I love the smell of old books. I just feel like it's just so much knowledge and history and just there's a story behind that old book. I don't know. And I love finding books where people wrote notes in the book, because it just has, to me, it gives that book life. I don't know. I just nerd out on things like that, especially going to old bookstores like Bookman's, or whenever we go out of town, we go to bookstores and thrift shops and just finding old treasures, people's treasures. But anyway, learning, right? And reflection, right? Reflection. Oh my gosh, I say this all the time to my nursing students. Sit back after your shift, after your day of learning, go home, reflect about your day. What went well? What did you do amazing? This is your time to gloat. Oh yeah, I slammed that IV, and yes, I was able to get that chest tube and change that chest, whatever it is, okay? Reflect on your day and start out with what you did well. Then go into the not so pleasant stuff, right? What could I have done better? It's like, oh man, I really could have done better on that med pass. I was kind of slow, right? I could have done better. I could have taught Mr. Charles how to better use his incentives barometer. I forgot about that. Those kinds of things. Reflect on what you did not do well, and then make a plan on what you're going to do the next day, right? These are your deposits into your bank. You are the bank. These are your deposits. Rest, nourishment, movement, therapy, learning, reflection. These are your deposits. Okay? And then what happens? Eventually, the accounts all balance. Yes, I know, right? It's wild. Eventually, your accounts will balance. I know. I love it. So with that, I'm just going to take a break, right? Because I think I gave you a lot of food for thought for that short moment. So soak it all in, and then, we'll be back. Hey everyone, Dr. Diana Collins here with the Soulful Eclectic, a podcast about being your authentic self and maintaining your health and wellness. Brought to you by Divine Nubian Essentials, Love the Skin You're In, and also Collins Education Resource Management, where healthcare education is our passion. If you're looking for a new read, check out our friend Reggie Dupree in Hoodoo Heaven, Return to Hoodoo, and Mystical Midlife Mate, because everything is happening in Hoodoo. Brought to you by WUBI Ubiquity Radio and TV. If you have not downloaded your app on Roku or Apple or Google Play, do so right away. The Soulful Eclectic can be found every Friday night, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on all your podcast streaming platforms, WUBI Ubiquity Radio and TV. So, see you soon. Namaste. Yay. So I hope you guys wrote that stuff down, because I did not tell you to write it down this time. I know I was very into giving you this information. So what we're doing is redefining health and what it means to you, and what wealth is outside of monetary value, which is energy, capacity, longevity, peace of mind, and the ability to show up for your life. We also talked a little bit about health as being a form of currency for you, and what your health determines is how long you can work, how clear you can think, the creativity of your dreams, and the consistency of how you show up. That is your renewable currency. So again, just to recap, every time we skip a meal, ignore a symptom, have those sleepless nights and unprocessed emotions, that's a withdrawal out of our bank account. Okay, that's a withdrawal from our accounts. So every time, every moment that we're there resting, nourishing our bodies, moving, learning, therapy, and having those reflections, those are deposits into our accounts. And eventually, with all that we're taking out, with those withdrawals, and with all that we're bringing in for as our replenishing, the goal is to have our accounts balanced, right? So that's a quick recap. Why are we investing in ourselves? It feels hard, right? Why investing in ourselves feels so hard? I don't know, but I want to talk about a little bit about the parts that we don't talk about enough. Because many of us are taught to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of productivity. Which is why I can tell you that I kind of walked through my life as a zombie and was on that hamster wheel for good 15, 20 odd years. I was on that hamster wheel, right? Because we were taught to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of productivity. If we weren't sacrificing ourselves, then we weren't being productive. And as individuals, we were taught to hustle through the exhaustion. All right. I know. Woo, I take a power nap and I'll get up and go. I would go sleep in my car and then go to a shift. I'm telling you, I will run down a day for you that I used to have. Now, I don't do this anymore because it's just not sustainable. And I've learned that it's not sustainable and it's not the normal progression of things. So this is not what I used to do. When you talk about the hustle being real, okay, I have a family. Back then, the girls were smaller. I was going through nursing school. And as I'm going through nursing school, I worked full-time working in 2 different clinics. I will go to school, go to my classes, go to clinicals. I would get home. I will cook for the kids. I would play with them for a little while, get them to bed, make sure they had their baths and brush their teeth, said their stories, and then put them to bed. Then I will sit at the table and study and study and study and probably wake up at that table and then do it all over again. This is how I did my life. Throw in dance classes, throw in bachelor's degree, throw in master's degree. I still worked like that. But the only thing is the type of work changed. Instead of working in a doctor's office, going to school, doing these things, now I work on a hospital unit, going to school, Now I work on a hospital unit and I teach at the school and I go home and do all these things, right? So to hustle through exhaustion is something that we are taught because we've seen our parents do it. We saw our grandparents do it, okay? The other thing that we're taught is to delay rest until after success. You can rest once you've gotten everything that you set out to get. Then that's the time that you rest, right? Who the hell does that? I can't co-sign on that. I need to rest now while I can enjoy the rest. And the rest is meaningful to me. Rest, you delay rest until you're successful? Nah, that's just not sustainable anymore. That's may have worked for our baby boomer parents and our quiet generation grandparents. It definitely ain't working for the Gen Zers because, listen, I worked with a couple of them and I'm sitting there like, okay, y'all got to get something from Gen X a little bit because I'm not understanding what's happening, but that's neither here nor there. I digress. But we are taught to delay rest until after success. And when I look at this is especially true for caregivers, those of us who are healers, educators, those of us who are parents and creatives. We see this a lot. All right. And what we find is that it is seen as self-investment can feel for us very selfish. And you guys have heard me say self-care is not selfish. I had to grow into that space because I was of the mindset I needed to sacrifice myself so that I can be productive and get where I needed to go. I needed to hustle even though I'm dead damn tired through that exhaustion. And yeah, I know I can rest. Once I've gotten this degree, this job, this position, I can rest because then that's my success. That's not true. Because that's the song and dance I said to myself. And then here we are. I, made it through medical assistant school when it was 2-year degree, an associate's degree, not the 6 months or the 9 months that they have now. It was 2 years. Made it through MA school, medical assistant school, made it through nursing school, registered nursing school, made it through a bachelor's program, made it through 2 master's programs, not one. I'm just an overachiever. Yes, I did 2 master's programs, made it through 2 master's programs, and then the doctorate degree. Why can't I still rest? I still feel like I can't rest. Why? Because I'm a caregiver, I'm a healer, and I'm an educator, and I'm also a parent and a caregiver. I'm all of those things. And self-investment can still feel to me as I'm being selfish. Anytime I sit down and I'm doing absolutely nothing, there's something in my brain and I pop up and I'm like, I got to go do something. And I'm on my computer. And I have to tell myself, no, you can't sit here and actually watch a show. It's okay. But then I still feel guilty because then my husband comes home and he's like, what did you do? And I'm like, nothing. And then I get a look and I'm like, oh, frick, I should have been doing something. What was I supposed to be doing? Oh, I could have put a load of laundry in while I was sitting here on the couch. So we have that, right? And mind you, he says nothing. He just goes in his office and does his work. But it's that undertone that we have been taught. It is. It's that undertone that we have been taught. But investing in ourselves is not indulgence. It's infrastructure. You are the system that everything is running on. And if that system breaks down, what's going to happen? So that leads me into what self-investment actually looks like. Okay. So invested in yourself doesn't always mean something flashy or expensive, right? Because that's when we say invest in ourselves. Oh, I'm going to go to the outlet. That was me back then. Like, invested in myself was getting the things that I didn't have growing up, right? So my first investment in myself in my mind was buying me a leather coat from Wilson's Leather, because I was never allowed to have a real leather coat growing up. Nope, I never had a real leather coat. So once I got a real good paycheck working as a registered nurse, my happy behind went to Wilson's Leather and bought 3 leather coats. But I did live upstate New York, so I did not live in lovely Arizona back then. So it was feasible, and I wasn't vegan back then. So that was an investment in myself, because to me back then, self-investment was buying something flashy and expensive, because again, that's what I experienced and that's what I saw. Okay. So to give you another look of what it looks like, sometimes it can look like you just getting up and taking an interest in your health by going to the doctor. Yes, going to the doctors before it becomes an emergency. Like I said earlier about taking a baseline, going to the doctor, following up. Yes, going to the doctor before it's an emergency. Get those baselines done. Get baseline labs. If the doctor said, oh, you're young, you don't need it. Oh, no, I do. I need to know where I am now, so that if in the event something happens, I can say, this is where I was. Because if you don't have anything to reference from, they're going to say, oh, you probably have always been this way and just never know it. No, I know, because back in December of last year, this wasn't a thing. Okay. So going to the doctor before it's an emergency. Saying no to protect your time and nervous system. Okay. We talked about this. No can be a complete sentence. No does not require an explanation. And I know I'm still working on it. I'm a work in progress. I admit it. Okay. Yes. I still say no sometimes and follow it up with the reasoning. No is no. And it's okay. And yes, you can say no to your friends. I have said no to my friends. I felt bad about it a little bit, but I still say no. But I felt good, because I was like, oh, my body really needs to rest. Did I miss out on something? Probably. Did they have a good time? Most definitely. Will they have a good time again? Absolutely. Will I go? Probably, because I probably will feel better, because now I've given myself rest, right? So saying no to protect your time and nervous system, right? Here's the other thing that I actually started doing last year, and don't y'all judge me. Oh, don't y'all judge me. But hiring support instead of doing everything alone. I work full-time, plus a lot of community things that I do, and plus my own businesses. So I worked full-time and over, right? My 9 to 5 plus my other stuff. My husband works full-time plus all his other stuff. And we still have to do normal house stuff. So something I've actually read in one of these success self-help driven business books that I've read over the years, they said to be a successful individual, you have to take back some of that time and hire support. So what did I do last year? The biggest thing I did was I hired somebody. As simple, it's very simple, but it was so helpful to myself and to my husband. Okay. I hired someone to pick up the dog poop. I love Anubis. We both adore her. But I got tired of picking up her poop, and I felt bad that my husband had to come home on the weekend, or and spend his weekends, his time off, where I want him to do his art and enjoy himself and do things he wants to do. I felt bad by asking him, when is he going to pick up the poop on the outside? And then if I didn't want to ask him, then I would do it midweek when I had a work from home day during my lunch. I would go outside and pick up dog poop. And I said, okay, this is ridiculous. And then all of a sudden I saw an ad for somebody to come to the house and pick up dog poop. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? There's someone who actually does this? And I hired the guy. And to this day, he will come religiously and pick up dog poop. That's all. I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Okay. I used to pull my own weeds. And I used to get mad when Dan wouldn't pull them because, we live in a place where you have an HOA. And unfortunately, there's a lot of places in Arizona that have HOA. We try to get away from it because we hate HOAs. But we live in a place that have HOAs. And that's, what is a HOA? House organization. I forgot what HOA stands for, just that quick. But they're pain in my butt. I think that's why I forget. But they'll fine you if you have weeds. And so, you pick up the weeds and it's like, oh my gosh. So even when you're renting people, even when you're renting a home, if you have the piece, if the homeowner has a HOA, you have to abide by the same rules, even though whichever it, but excuse me, it depends on the stipulations in your lease. Let's just say that. Anyways. But anyway, yeah. So hiring support instead of doing everything alone was monumentous. And, I even, they tease me and it's like, are you going to hire someone to help you clean up inside your home? And it's like, I seriously considered it. Why not? Because when I'm working from home, that helps me because that person could be cleaning while I'm working and I don't have to get up and do. So, it's all these things, but I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know how I feel about having somebody in my house. But anyways, right now, poop in the yard. But I digress. Hiring support instead of doing everything yourself. That is one of the success tips that is in the seven rules of success. I think it is. I think that's where I got it from. But again, I don't quote me on that because I read so many success business books over the past 3 years or 5 years since I've had my businesses. So, but that's what they say. That's one of the key things that they say, hiring support instead of doing everything yourself, because you can take your time back and put it into your business and invest it into yourself. Go for a walk. So that's time that you're putting into your bank, right? Learning a new skill that expands your earning power. I talked about the books, right? What can I say about that? Read a self-help book. Read a success book. If you're going to have a business, read a book about business. I didn't go to business school. I don't have an MBA. I have a nursing degree. I have a doctorate in nursing. And none of that. They got to be like maybe this much about running a business. Okay? So if there's something that you're doing, learn a new skill that expands your earning power. Okay? I'm learning some leadership things because it would expand my knowledge on leadership. Some of it I already know, but it helps me pull that back in the forefront of my brain. And some of it is new, right? Because leadership changes. How you are an effective leader changes. So learning new skills that expands your earning power is huge, right? And I'm going to go back to that other one, resting without guilt. Whew. That's the hardest one for me. But I love watching TV. I do. I'm going to admit it. My husband can't stand the fact that I could sit there for hours and watch TV. And even sit there and watch the same show I've seen probably 100 times. But I will sit there and watch it like I've never seen it before because I like it. That's my business. And I love it. But resting and doing things without guilt. That's still a challenge for me, and I'll admit it, but I'm getting better and better at it, and it's going to be what it is. All right. And the last thing I want to talk about is choosing alignment over approval. Okay. What helps us be in alignment will not always get the approval of others. And that's okay because it's not their business. It really isn't. It's about you and investing in yourself and that self-investment and what it looks like for you. And sometimes it's just as simple as these things that I've listed. It really is. Health and wealth grow together when your choices honor sustainability, not just survival. In the past, mine was just holding on to survival. I'm going to tell you, I was in the survival state. Yep. Now I'm honoring my sustainability. And I'm showing you and teaching you and sharing with you how to start developing that investment into yourself and honoring your sustainability. All right, last but not least, I want to talk about the long game. The long game. All right, so this is the most powerful investments don't pay off overnight. Okay. Some of, if not the most powerful investments, don't pay off overnight. They build on top of each other, they compound. So when you invest in your health, okay, you reduce future medical costs. Yep, I said it. I know I'm a healthcare provider. And yes, I do bill on you being sick. Okay, why we keep putting money in their pockets? Okay, myself included. Stop. We give you the tools to keep yourself healthy, but y'all keep ignoring them. So you keep putting that money into us. Okay? So when you invest in yourself and invest in your health, be it mind, body, and soul, you reduce future medical costs. You increase your earning longevity. Okay? If your goal is to be successful and make more money, invested in your health decreases not only medical costs, but it increases your earning longevity. Because your health is well, you're not getting sick, you're not losing time at your business and at work. So therefore, you have more time putting into your businesses and your jobs, increasing your earning longevity. Yeah, figure that out. Yeah, I had to learn that one too. You protect your creativity, your mind. You have that clarity. You can create beautiful pieces of art, beautiful strands of clothing, furniture, whatever your creative outlet. Being in a on stage, being in a film, you increase your creativity. Yeah, go figure. Again, had to learn that one too. Why was I struggling remembering lines? Because you weren't sleeping. Because you weren't listening to your body and resting. Oh, because you did not take your vitamin. Oh, you missed a meal. That's why you have no clarity for your creativity. All right? You preserve your joy. Now, one of the things I say, no one's going to steal my joy. Okay? But you take away your own joy by not taking care of yourself and your health. So you preserve your joy by investing in your health. When you invest in your growth, okay, now when you invest in your health, you reduce medical costs, you increase your earning longevity, you protect your creativity, you preserve your joy. And when you invest in your growth, you make clearer decisions, people. Yes, you got that level of clarity. You attract and align bigger opportunities. Yeah, I'm telling you, clearing all that cloud and tapping into the unconsciousness and clearing up all that, self-doubt, insecurity, all these things that we have living in deep rooted in us, because this stuff is fed from somewhere. This tree of us did not, has roots, right? So when you clear all of that up, you make clearer decisions. You attract opportunities that align with where you're going, your success and your growth. You stop settling out of fear. And I love fear because fear, if I'm scared to do something, it drives me to do it even more because I'm not going to let fear drive me. Except for jumping out of a plane. That can continue to scare me. I'm okay with that. Okay. I'm going to keep that fear and that's going to keep me grounded. How about that? All right. So some fears can keep you safe, but some fears, I don't let it stop me. If I'm scared to do something, I'm going to dive into it and do it for the most part. Like I said, if it's something like jumping out of an airplane, yeah, I'm gonna hold on to that fear because that fear is keeping me safe. Yep. When I tell you all these pieces, I'm sharing with you how legacy is at work. This is legacy at work when you're able to do these pieces. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a good place to send us on our merry way. So in closing, I want to give you a reflection. Because you thought you were going to get out of here without homework. Nice try. So break out the journals, notepads, whatever, piece of paper. I don't care what you write it on. Okay. So here it is. Here's my question for you this evening. What would you change if you treated your well-being like your most valuable asset? Sorry. What would change? Not what would you change. What would change if you treated your well-being like your most valuable asset? Okay. Now, when I say that, it's not something that you just squeeze in because you got to get it in between and you got to get it done. Not something that you earn, but something that you protect. What would you change if you treated your well-being like your most valuable asset? Okay? Because the richest life is one where you have health, clarity, and capacity to actually enjoy what it is that you have built. Yeah. Let that sink in. My affirmation for you. I'm worthy of investment. My health is my wealth. And I choose sustainability over sacrifice. Yeah. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs permission to just slow down and choose themselves. And just as always, take care of your body, your mind, and your spirit. They are carrying you toward everything that it is that you desire. So continue to take care of yourself and each other. And check us out. Share us, like us, ring the bell, all those fun things. Because if we can just reach one person, then we're doing our thing. All right. Namaste.